It's all happening down here today, isn't it? Afternoon, how are we doing? Turns out Shelley's got her voice back. Turns out somebody else is losing theirs instead. Just keeps going around, passing it from one to another. Bit of an interesting, well, I'll be appreciative of your comments today to find out if what I'm doing is the right thing or not, because at this moment in time I'm not sure. I'm going to make a decision today that's going to shoot myself in the foot, and I don't know if it's the right decision. And I just wondered if you in the comments, it'd be interesting to hear what your perspective is and what your point of view is. Just make sure you're on. Yeah, you're on. So I can't shout because my voice is going. Not that shout anyway. Save that for work. You're all aware I've got two girls. I've got a 22-year-old and I've got a 19-year-old. 22-year-old's over here now. She's on a year's visa. This one is concerning my 19-year-old. And the 19-year-old, she is coming up. She's in college at the moment, and she's studying acting. She's absolutely loving it and having a fantastic time. She thinks it's absolutely brilliant, which is really, I'm so pleased for her. I've turned into the wind there, so that'll work. She's into acting. She's studying at college, doing her acting qualifications, and she's loving it. The thing is at December, we're talking about Christmas time, obviously like school holidays, she's off over the Christmas period. And I said to her, what about the idea, do you fancy coming over to have Christmas with me and Shelley and spend your Christmas with us? Which she thought was a fantastic idea. She said she'd love to do it. I said, great, okay, let me check on flights and let me get back to you with regards to the flights and see what we can do with it. This here in now lies the problem, because she breaks up on Friday, the 23rd, I'd like to say, till the 8th of Jan. Now, we all know that what happens with flight prices is they go through the blinking roof when it comes to school holidays. But before that, you can get out to people, you can get people out, a little bit early on the flight prices. So the Monday, the 18th, the flight price was only going to be in the region around about 140 quid return, £150 return, which is fine for me. There's no problem at all with that. So I said to her, look, so if you finish on the Monday, you miss 4 days of college. I said, you can get over for about 140 quid, you can stay for as long as you like, and we'll get you back, and you get back in time for the new term. He said, look, I've got a problem, she said. The problem is, I've got a bursary at college, and the bursary dictates that I've got to have a 90% attendance record, otherwise I'll lose the bursary, which makes sense, which is fair enough, I get that. I said, well, where are you at the moment, expecting that she's going to be at 100%. And she says, I'm at 92%. Now, when you're at 92%, that tells me a couple of things. Number one, it's because she's not ill. It's number one, she's not been attending every single college and every single day to get 92%. It's still good, 92%, but still not enough room for us to play where I can think about then getting her away or getting her out here on the Monday. And if she comes out from the Friday, the price is going up somewhere in the region of 450 quid, which for Tenerife, personally, in our experience, I refuse to pay at the moment. So, as she said, I can't do the Monday. She says, because what it'll do is it'll take me below below the 90% threshold, which means if we go below the 90% threshold, I lose the bursary, and therefore it has financial implications. I'm like, right, okay, so what should I do? I've got a couple of options. Number one, bite the bullet and say, yeah, it's fine, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, I'll pay for it. It's fine, I can pay for it. And get you over here, you can have 2.5, 3 weeks over here, spend some time with me, spend some time with your sister, and you can come here. Or number two, I can teach her a lesson, like a tough lesson, and say, well, look, you're at 92%, not through my fault, but through your own fault, you're at 92%, which means in all essence, I can't justify that sort of money to bring over to Tenerife. I know that if she stays back in the UK, she'll have a good Christmas, because she's there with the ex-in-laws and the cousins, and she'll have a great time over there with the other side of the family, let's say. And it's only 1 more year before she leaves college, and then after that she can come over whenever she wants. So I'm taking the decision of shooting myself in the foot, because there's nothing more than I want to see her. But I do believe sometimes that it's that age when you're 18, she's 19 now, but it's that age when you've got to start taking responsibility for your actions, I think. And the responsibility for the actions there is, look, you're the one that's created the 92%. She's got no money to go towards it, because I've asked her. I thought, I'll try and be the responsible dad first, saying, well, I'll make a play on the cost and say, well, why don't you, if you've got any money to put towards it, and we'll pay for the rest. I even asked Megan, I said, look, do you want to get your sister a Christmas present of putting some money towards it? But she's already got her a Christmas present, she says. I think I'm going to have to bite the bullet on this one and, you know, shoot myself in the foot and be a responsible parent more than anything else, and just say, look, I can't do it. I don't think it's not feasible or viable, it doesn't make sense for me to do it. There's a couple of caveats here, by the way. The first one is I'm actually going back in 2 weeks' time for a few days just to go and see her. So I'm actually going back in November, mid to late November, to go and see her. So that's the first caveat. The second caveat is, which she doesn't know, is we're also coming back in February for the birth of our grandchild from Shelley's son and daughter-in-law. So we're going back anyway. So it's not as a question of like it's not going to be you know, months and months and months without seeing her. And we also chat on WhatsApp, FaceTime all the time. So. But it's hard, isn't it? It's hard when, you know, that's one of the things of being a parent, is you can turn around, you can say to people, look, you know, I can do it, but at what point, where's the lesson learned in this for, you know, a 19-year-old to understand, you know, I actually want her to, you know, to reflect on it just by saying it in a nonchalant way. I want her to reflect like, shit, I can't get to Tenerife. I know it's a bummer for her, but it won't be a major one because she'll still have a good time back in the UK. So I'm still in a quandary with it. She still doesn't know I've said that. I'm not told her this yet, but I think at the moment this is the likely decision I'm going to make. But this is also the reason why I want to know what you'd do if you're in my. You know, have you ever had this scenario before, where you can afford to do something? I can quite easily afford to do something, but out of principle and out of responsibility, I think it's a decision to make, to go, no, I'm not going to do it this time. I'm not going to do it this time. And I think that's the point that I'm at this moment in time. It's really bugging me. It really is. I know I'm going to see her in 2 weeks' time. And I know also for the fact that she does come over for 2 weeks, she's mostly going to get bored because she's a gamer and she lives on the computers, and, you know, she won't have all that facilities when she's here. So it's a little bit, you know, I don't know. Anyway, listen. Oh, man. I suppose the question is how do you teach your kids disappointment? Because it is a lesson that needs to be learned, isn't it? It's a part of life that needs to be learned. And if you don't teach them in a roundabout way from, you know, in a controlled environment like this or a controlled situation, they're only going to learn in the real world, when sometimes the real world can be a hell of a lot harsher. And I think that's what it is. I've got an opportunity to teach a life lesson to one of my kids at a cost of myself, and I think the life lesson's more important than my own greed or need to see my daughter, when you think you've got the rest of your life with them, you know. Whereas this is just one instance, one fraction in time. After she finishes college at the end of this year, you know, she's going to be a lot more flexible when it comes to her holiday times, which makes it a lot easier for all concerned. But at the moment, I think it's just something that needs to be done. Don't make it anything easy though, does it? Alice, if you watch this, Alice, she doesn't watch this sort of stuff, but if you do, understand that this is the quandary, and understand that this is the reasoning behind it, and that's all it is, just the reasoning. So you can have a fantastic Christmas anyway. She's gonna have a great Christmas. It's not always easy being a dad, is it? You know, sometimes you make a choice, and, you know, this choice most probably is going to be a selfish choice, and most probably the other thing that goes with it, the combination of the other side of the family, the ex's side, of going, you can't even be bothered doing this or be bothered doing that, because you've got that playing in the back of your mind as well when you're a divorced dad. You know, it's what the snide comments are going to be about me when I've made a decision, but I've made the decision for a reason, rather than making a decision out of selfishness. It is actually, there's a reasoning behind it. So that definitely plays, if you're a divorced dad, you most probably know that definitely plays a major part in a lot of your decision making, is also what the other people are going to say. But then you've got to be strong enough in your shoes to know that the decision you're making is that you got to know the decision you're making is for the right reasons, and it's not for your own reasons. I think that's what it comes down to. So I've most probably rambled on a little bit too long this one. Your comments will mean a lot to me on this one. For those that do always take time to put the comments in, thank you so much. Whether you agree or disagree, I'd just like to know, because it's just out of, again, it's a life lesson that I'm choosing to make, but it could be that I'm the one that's making the wrong decisions. And if I'm making the wrong decision, then, you know what I mean? I'd need to know that as well, because it could be a life lesson for me as well. So you're never too young to learn, are you? You're never too young to learn. It's not a bad little spot here, actually. It's not a bad spot at all. It looks really good. So, as always, you know what to do. I'll see you on the next one. All the best, guys. Cheers.